We must publish more, or the profits will suffer. Hey, I wanted to tell you about this book that I read in November called The Cat Who Saved Books. It's by a Japanese doctor called Sosuke Natsukawa, and it is about a young teenage boy whose grandfather dies, and his grandfather owned a used bookshop. One day, when the teenage boy is sort of just trying to wrap up his grandfather's affairs, this tabby cat named Tiger comes into the store and asks him for help. What follows is a beautiful ode to books, literature, and an echo of The Little Prince, aimed specifically at those of us who obsess about our book stats a bit too much and who sometimes forget about the charm of reading. So the cat wants the teenager's help to save books from people who are mistreating them. The first person is a businessman who leaves books to perish on the shelf. We've come to free your books. The cat's white whiskers twitched as it spoke. I really don't have a minute to spare. I have my TV and radio appearances to prepare for, and so many lectures and articles to write. I do manage to squeeze out some time to cast my eyes over these books. My collection comes from all over the world. But I don't have time to deal with raving lunatics. I've already wasted 2 precious minutes listening to you. If you've finished, I'd like you to leave now. We're not done talking. I already told you to leave. The man glared at the tenacious tabby. I've only read 65 of my 100-book quota so far. Get out. To this I wrote, wow, no need to call me out like this. 100 books? Rintaro couldn't help but ask. You read 100 books a year? Yeah, some of us do. Not a year, the man replied, theatrically, turning the next page in his book. A month, he continued pompously. And that is why I'm so busy. I welcomed you, thinking you were bringing me news that might be to my benefit, but clearly I was mistaken. If you continue to waste my time, I will have you thrown out. Of course, once you leave this room, I have no idea whether the 2 of you will be able to find your way out again, but that's no concern of mine. So this man has a Goodreads challenge of reading 100 books a month. The Goodreads is not mentioned here, but I feel like the spirit of the Goodreads challenge lives on in this particular page. The second character that they meet is a scholar who cuts pages into snippets to encourage speed reading. And this is like, it's so horrific. I'm currently working on Goethe's Faust. The goal is to get it down to 2 minutes, but it's proving to be quite challenging. He slapped a pile of books on his desk. The force caused several of the snippets of paper lying around to dance like snowflakes. It was impossible to tell if any of these books were copies of Faust, because they had seemingly all undergone the scissor treatment. I've already succeeded in eliminating 90% of the book, but even at 10% of the original, this is still a huge project. It really needs to be condensed further. It's going to take a lot of work, but there are many people who wish to read Faust, so I need to meet their expectations. Isn't that a weird way to go about it? Weird. Why? Well, listen. They say that people don't read anymore, but that's just not true. They're too busy. There really is a limit to the time that they can spend reading. But there are so many books they want to read. People naturally want to be exposed to lots of different stories. Want to read The Brothers Karamazov or The Grapes of Wrath? How should we fulfill that need? Speed reading and a synopsis. That's how. I love it. I feel so called out by this. Then the third person is a publishing drone who cares only about bestsellers. So when they enter this area, the building outside is like full of like abandoned books in like various states of disarray. They're like in piles and disgusting, and the publisher's like, more! We must publish more! Or the profits will suffer. Exactly how much profit do you need to make? My grandpa used to say, once you got thinking about money, there was no end to it. If you have 1 million yen, then you want 2. If you have 100 million, then you want 200. So better to stop focusing on money and talk instead about the book we read today. Like you, I believe that bookshops need to turn a profit. But I do know that there are things just as important as making money. And then there was these quotes about books and about life and about grief that just made me so happy and sad. Books can't live your life for you. The reader who forgets to walk on his own 2 feet is like an old encyclopedia, his head stuffed with out-of-date information. Unless someone else opens it up, it's nothing but a useless antique. Do you want to end up a walking encyclopedia? In our stifling daily lives, we're all so occupied with ourselves that we stop thinking about others. When a person loses their own heart, they can't feel another's pain. They lie, they hurt others, use weaker people as stepping stones to get ahead. They stop feeling anything. The world has become full of these kinds of people. I don't believe I have any special powers, and that includes the power to change anything. But if there is one thing I'm good at, it's talking about books. And I still have plenty to say. I've been thinking over the topic of the power of books for a long time, and I believe I found an answer. Books teach us how to care about others. If you find a book easy to read, that means it's all stuff that you already know. That's why it's easy. If you find it difficult, then that's proof that it's something brand new. Your sense of humor leaves something to be desired, but your heart is in the right place. This world throws all kinds of obstacles at us. We are forced to endure so much that it is absurd. Our best weapon for fighting all the pain and trouble in the world isn't logic or violence. It's humor. So I think really what I want to leave you with in terms of the importance of this book is it talks about the commodification of fiction and about how much books need room to breathe and room to interact with their readers, and how much our lives are enriched by reading. I found this book so beautiful and so interesting, and as you've seen, I've annotated a bunch. I annotated quotes that mean a lot to me, like some of the ones I read to you before. I annotated quotes that reminded me of the structure of the book being based on The Little Prince, and I annotated quotes that just made me laugh or smile. And I ended up with this gorgeous thing that's just mine. And I love it. I think what was really beautiful with this book is it really emphasized how much books can help us process difficult emotions, including grief, and how much they can help us connect to others and reconnect with the world after we wanted to retreat into ourselves. That's definitely something that books have done for me and why I care about them so much. And yeah, I just really recommend this book to you. I hope you can get your hands on it. I hope you can pick it up, and I hope you loved or at least enjoyed the quotes that I shared with you today. All right, I hope you read an excellent book sometime soon.